This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 446, an excerpt from the audiobook Essential Essays by the Minimalists by Joshua Fields Millburn and Ryan Nicodemus, and I'm Justin Malik. Yay, it's my birthday! Time flies. If you really want to know, I'm 35 years old now. I'm okay sharing that. I decided to give myself a tiny break and play some content from an audiobook that I made for the Minimalists, so that's what you'll be hearing today instead of me reading to you kinda live. It should sound pretty much the same though. But really quick, Jason Hartman of the Creating Wealth podcast has given me a little gift and helped to support this show. So it'd be awesome if you could return the love and check out and subscribe to his podcast too. You can find more info about him at oldpodcast.com/wealth, and you can listen to the Creating Wealth podcast in the podcast app of your choice. But for now, let's hear some more of the audiobook and start optimizing your life. Life's Most Dangerous Question by Joshua Fields Millburn. What do you do? This is often the first question we ask strangers. On the surface, it seems like an innocuous query, one we ask each other every day, a servile four-word nicety we utter so we have something, anything, to talk about. The majority of the answers are boring, soundbite-ish replies we have standing by at the ready, prepped for the next dinner party or networking event. I am a director of operations. I am a regional manager. I am the senior vice president of Who Gives a Shit. Whoop-de-doo, good for you. Truth be told, we regurgitate these canned answers because they're easy to repeat, trance-like and semi-conscious, over and over and over again. No one wants to talk about their boring day job ad nauseum, but it sure is easy to state your name, rank, and serial number. It's easy to prove you're a cog in the wheel or a rung on the ladder, just like everyone else. It's much harder, however, to talk about other, more important aspects of life. So instead of finding more worthwhile discussions, we go about our days providing lifeless answers to this lifeless question, our collective discs set to repeat. Let's think about this question. It's such a broad, salient inquiry, any answer would suffice. What do? I do a lot of things. I drink water. I eat food. I write words sloppily onto little yellow legal pads. Once you scrape away its cheap gold plating, however, you'll find a series of irksome inquisitions lurking beneath the surface. Sadly, what we're actually asking when we posit this malefic question, albeit unknowingly, is, how do you earn a paycheck? How much money do you make? What is your socioeconomic status? And based on that status, where do I fall on the socioeconomic ladder compared to you? Am I a rung above you? Below you? How should I judge you? Are you worth my time? There is a better way to answer this dangerous query, though, by changing the question altogether. The next time someone asks what you do, try this. Don't give them your job title. Instead, tell them what you're passionate about, and then change course by asking them what they are passionate about. What do you do? Asks the stranger. I'm passionate about writing, or rock climbing, or sailing, or input accounting, you say, followed by, what are you passionate about? At this point, you'll likely get one of three responses. Number one, a blank stare. Number two, the person will tell you they're also passionate about X, Y, or Z, and the conversation will veer off in a more heartfelt direction. Or three, the stranger will attempt to recite their job title, to which you can respond, that's great, so you're passionate about your job? Eventually, you will both discuss the things you enjoy instead of the jobs you don't. I practiced this exercise during my last year in the corporate world. It helped me remove the importance of my job title from my life, and it opened me up to discussing with others my passion for writing. I had an impressive job title, but it didn't make me happy. It didn't fulfill me. Now, I'm more fulfilled pursuing my dream than by any title. Think of this shift as changing a noun into a verb. Instead of giving people a title, i.e. a box to put you in, let them know what you enjoy doing, what you're passionate about, and then discover what they enjoy. The conversation will morph into something far more interesting, and you'll learn a lot more about each other than your silly job titles. What is your mission? You were not meant to do any one thing for the rest of your life. Yet this idea of birthright passion is promulgated throughout our society, throughout the internet in particular, as if each person has a preordained vocation he or she must pursue, as if evolution, natural selection, or whatever, has spent thousands of years plotting and transmogrifying so you can be a writer, a yoga teacher, or an astronaut. Life doesn't contain these absolutes. No one has a predetermined destiny. No one has a singular pre-existing passion waiting to be uncovered. There are dozens, even hundreds of things you can do with your life, work you can be happy and passionate about. Hence, follow your passion is crappy advice. What's important to consider then is this question: what is my mission? Many of us go through life working a job or worse, a career. We become accustomed to a particular lifestyle, a lifestyle that involves too much spending, personal debt, and consumer purchases, our own personalized version of the American dream. Then we get stuck on the corporate ladder, and before we know it, we're too high up to climb back down. So high up, even looking down is a terrifying proposition. So we keep soldiering forward, onward and upward, without ever asking the important questions. There's nothing inherently wrong with working a job. We all have to keep the lights on. However, when we travel too far from living a deliberate life, when we stop asking difficult questions, we stop feeling fulfilled. Like your passion, your mission is not pre-existing, and it's not always easy to find or pursue. When you find something, anything you're passionate about, and you make it your life's mission, you will find great joy and rewards in the work you do. Otherwise, you're just earning a paycheck. Too Much Branding These Days by Joshua Fields Millburn. There is a difference between a brand and branding. McDonald's, Johnson & Johnson, and Walmart are brands. And you, if you're a creator of something, can also be a brand. The difference between a corporation as a brand and you, the brand, is the corporation's primary objective is, by definition, to make money. You, on the other hand, needn't bear profits as your main objective. If you, the maker, are concerned principally with earning money by creating something, and yet you pretend that something is being made to benefit the greater good, then your product will reek of insincerity, pretense, and disingenuousness. This is commonplace for corporations, so much so we've come to expect it in their advertisements. We know their fundamental goal is money. For example, have you ever believed a corporation truly understands you? I certainly haven't, not as an adult at least. But I have regarded as true that certain musicians, authors, or artists understand me as a person. There's often a connection between me, the artist, and her work. This doesn't mean products devised for profit aren't useful. They often are. It simply means people won't find the same connection with that product as they do with the literature, music, or artwork they love. For the main objective of these personal works isn't typically financial in nature. It is to develop a connection with other human beings. When making money is a dominant driver for what you create, you are branding, carefully composing your image, neurotically considering your demographic, and obsessively tweaking your good or service to fit a customer base. There's nothing wrong with earning money. I simply prefer for it to result from what I write, not the other way around. I found when I'm honest, open, and add value to other people's lives, people are willing to support my work whenever they are given the opportunity. You just listened to an excerpt from the audiobook Essential Essays by the Minimalists by Joshua Fields Millburn and Ryan Nicodemus. And once again, if you like this show, you can help me out by helping Jason Hartman, a friend of the show. Check out his podcast, the Creating Wealth Podcast. You can come by oldpodcast.com/wealth to learn more. And Jason has a new slant on investing with some fresh approaches to building wealth and passive income, which happens to be my favorite source of income. He's a self-made multimillionaire and definitely knows what he's talking about. He's a lender, a real estate developer, and has hundreds of tenants. He has interviews with many different experts on his show, like Jenny Craig, Steve Forbes, and more. Again, that's on the Creating Wealth podcast with Jason Hartman. And you can learn more at oldpodcast.com/wealth. Showing him some love will help keep this podcast going, and he's a friend of the show, so please check it out. And that's it for today. Thank you for listening on my birthday. That's the greatest gift you can give me. I really appreciate it. Have a great one, and I will see you tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.
Hey, this is Dan from the Optimal Finance Daily podcast, which is a lot like this show, except more focused on personal finance. Justin handpicks the best posts he can find from blogs and authors like Ramit Sethi, Mr. Money Mustache, and more, and I read them to you 5 days a week. So if you enjoy this podcast, come on over and subscribe to Optimal Finance Daily too. And together, we'll optimize your financial life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.